Hello, this is the heat load calculation fifth part. We're still showing windows in a east, west, or southerly direction. Now, as you can see up here at the top, if you've watched the other videos, I've gone ahead and completed all these parts up here. So this is done totally just like you do on the north side window. Like I said, do all your calculations, and you should be down to here by now. In the last video, we did the East 1A window right here. Did this window right here. Make that a little bigger. There we go. We did the East 1 window right there, and we did a full calculation all the way down to the bottom to get the effective HTM down here at the base. And that would transpose, these numbers here are what you're going to transpose back to the J1AE form, your main calculation page. I wanted to do another window. We're going to do this one right here. This is the C window. Let me make this a little bit bigger. There we go. A little bit more visible for people watching. Okay, this is the C window. So this is your C window. It's on the west side, 2-pane, metal with a break. There's your construction number 1D-C-MB West C1. So when we look at this, we're going to look at the construction of it and do the calculation. Now, remember in this little blueprint here, the C1 right here, I'll use my highlighter, the C1 right here transposes up here to this C-type window, which is a sliding glass door, 2-pane, clear, metal with a break frame, and width times height. Okay? So this is it, and it has a 1.5 overhang, as all the rest of the house does. The only difference is this part right here. It's 1.5 foot below the roof edge line. So it's a little bit shorter because it's a door, not a window. This is a sliding glass door. But I wanted to show you this one because it has a little bit difference to it on the calculation. In other words, this information that we keep talking about over here, down here on the side here that you're supposed to pay attention to on line 17. When you get to line 17, this one is going to probably throw a number there that the information over there will be true. I just want to show it to you. Now, when you're doing these calculations, after you've got all your windows and all your doors and everything, as you can see here, I just went straight across and did all the calculations on this. The opening height and feet, real easy to go across through there, get all the information off the blueprint. And remember, on your blueprint, the secondary number, this number right here is your actual height. This is your width, this is your height. And remember, it's in inches, and we need this in square foot. So make sure you do the proper math on it and divide that number by 12, so that way you get this actual opening size. So our line 12, this is our opening height. Line 13, this is the overhang. In other words, how much does the roof overhang all this? Now remember, it was 1.5 foot all the way around, so we could transpose all those numbers all the way across. And also, just as a heads up, I do have even the B2 window, this one over here. It is not in your manual. This is the one I was talking about. It's done, it's completed, but it was not done, in all its numbers out here where you can see it. So we're going to make sure we do that one as well. So that way you know all the numbers and we get all our information down here, and then we can transpose it back over to our main page. So that way all of our BTU calculations can be done for Windows. So let's go back to this one right here. This will be our window here, and remember, this is a west C1 window, so we're going to work on this one right here. Now, like I said, we've gotten the height, we've gotten the overhang, and the SLM value, remember the SLM value? SLM value, that's at 0.82. That's his chart down here in the corner. So this is a west-facing window, so we would use east and west. And of course, our latitude was 34, so we're going to use 35 here, which is 0.82. And that's where you got that. Down across through here, like I said, I need to fix that. That is actually incorrect. Let's go ahead and do that. And This is a south-facing window. No, that's correct. That is correct. Sorry, that's south-facing window. So over here on the south-facing windows, your SLM for this, 34, like I said, of course it's going to be down here south. So that's going to be 3.53. So both of these are south-facing windows, so that's why they're 3.53. Okay. So we're all set up now. And like I said, you can work across this away on some of these numbers if you've already got all this information up here completed. And it makes it a little bit quicker going down through there. But atypically, you just want to work one column at a time. So on to our next step. Like I said, shade, line, overhang, Z. Line 13 times line 14. So 1.5 times 8.2. 1.5 times 0.82. There we go. A lot of times you'll make simple calculation mistakes. 1.23. Now, we see these are the same, so I know that's going to end up being the same number as well, so I'm going to go ahead and jot those down. And while we're here, let's go ahead and do this one while we're at it. So that way we're doing all of these, and we can get them all done. So 1.5 times 3.53, 5.295. And of course, since both of these windows are southerly, 5.295. Those numbers hold true on both of those. Okay. Next, distance below. So this is that overhang part. Now remember, on this window here, this is the sliding glass door, so it's 1.5 on this one. And all other windows are 1.0, which I'll do the double zero. Once again, just to keep it clean. 0.00, and this one here was 1.00. Okay. Next, shade height. This is the one where you have to pay attention to, that has the information right here that you have to read to make sure this is true. So shade height is line 15 minus line 16. So line 15 minus line 16. Here we go. So 1.23 minus 1.50 gives us negative 0.27. Okay, there you go, negative 0.27. I'm going to slide this over a little bit so my calculator can stay in visible sight. There we go. A little bit more. Yep. There we go. Okay. Now, right here on this number, we got 0.27, negative 0.27. And it says right here, I'll make this large so we can all read it. If S is negative or 0, stop. Then copy line 8 HTM to line 26. Okay, line 8 is up here. So we're just going to copy this number here, 46, down to here. And that one is complete. And the reason being is this is dealing with shade height. And we can look at our little diagram over here. I'm going to move this out of the way. This is dealing with shade height. So basically, this is the distance below, which we're subtracting, and this right here is the shade line, the Z. So in other words, that direct sunlight that's coming down here, how far is it going down? And if you end up with a negative number, that basically means the shade line is completely encompassed everything inside of here. In other words, it's completely shaded. So that's why you can use this number up here, and they say just take this number here and transpose it down to there. So all these right here, like I said, we could leave them blank, but I'm going to leave the text in there so in case I do another calculation at a later time, I can put something in there. Okay, and that's basically if you run into a number right there, that's why it's important to pay attention to these little information here on the side here. You know, what to do. Let's look at another window, and we'll go to the actual Vatilo house. And here you see the same thing I was talking about. This information down through here, like I said, there you see they got a negative number there. They just jumped to there. All these are blank. And of course they took the 46 from up here because the window's completely shaded. Now the next window would be a full calculation. And then here we have window E. That's window E. Let's do window E because we see it has a funny situation happening in it. So we're going to do window E. Go ahead and shrink that down. Okay, so window E is right here. That's window E. And we're just going to start right here where we was at and keep on going down through here and see what it is that happens with it. Okay, so we're on line 17, the other one where, like I said, if you end up with a negative or a 0, or if the shade is greater than the height, then to do that. And it says what? Line 15 minus line 16. So 5.29. Let me slide this over so we can keep it in visible sight. 5.295 minus 1.00. So we end up with 4.295. Now before, dealing with the other house, and that's what we want to bring that back up here and see what the difference is happening right here. On this one right here, you see, because of the shade value, like I said, and this was dealing with Texas, so this had a different shade value north and everything like that. This number right here, let me bring up my target. There we go. This number right here, like I said, is the shade height. So in other words, if the shade height's like totally overdoing it and everything like that, and the original height. So in other words, just think of it like this. If the shade is going 7 foot down this way and the window's only 4 foot right here, it's completely shaded. So you're going to do another little small calculation and then you end up with that. Now since we moved the house to Birmingham, Alabama, our numbers are coming up a little bit different. Our shade height is still less than our height. So 4.29 is less than 4.50 right here. This is the height of the window, so we're still partially shaded, but like I said, there's still a little bit of the window that's still there. So therefore this calculation here is going to hold true, and we would just keep moving along with the next one, which is line 12 minus line 17. So 4.50 minus 4.29. And that was 0.205. There we go. And of course, North HTM from table A, like I said, this is south. So let's bring up our table A. Thought I wouldn't have to have it, so there's our table 3A. There we go. So here's your table 3A that we did our other calculations off. We're going to move it to north. So that's going to put my target right here. And of course, our CTM is 20. So 16 is going to be our number right there where those two intersect. And there you go. So you can see a little bit clearer. I'll pull it down a little bit. There we go. So our T3 CTD was 20. So this is north. Like I said, so 16 is what our number is going to be. Okay. HTM adjustment, copy line 7. Line 7's up here. Try to keep it along at 0.9 because it had a bug screen on it. And that blocks a little bit of the light out, so that's a little shade bonus. North, adjusted north, so now we're going to adjust this. So we'll do 16 times 0.90, which is 90%. So basically, only 14.40 is getting through on that one. Shaded glass factor, like I said, 17 divided by, so 17 is 4.29. 4.295 divided by, what was it? Line 12, which is our height, 4.50. And we end up with this big number here, which, like I said, we're going to round to the thousandths on this. 0.954. Unshaded height, line 18 divided by line 12. So line 18 is right here, all along 0.205 divided by line 12, which is our height again, 4.5. And you end up with this big number, which we're going to round that up to 6. 0.046. Okay. And finally, line 21 times line 22. Line 21 is right here, 14.4 times line 22, 0.954. We end up with 13.78. Oh, I'm sorry, 13.738. Okay. And finally, line, let's bring that down here right here so we know where we're at. Line 8 times line 23. So line 8 up here adjustment, that's going to be 2160. 2160 times line 23, which is the 0.046. And then there we go. That's going to round that up to 4. So we end up with 0.994 for that number. And then finally, the effective HTM down here at the base, very bottom line, the blue number here, line 24 plus line 25. And just to make sure you see that correctly, there you go, line 24 times line plus line 25. So this is 24, so basically 13.738 plus 0.4. And we end up with 14.732. Okay. And there you go. Like I said, these are all the calculations, and this is how you do it. Basically, you just follow this information down through here, and of course, pay attention to these information over here. They'll be located in some different areas, but anything that's right here, these are the things. If it was north, this would be information. Like I said, this is our, our window opening height. Like I said, that's all that information that would go to there. These are your cooling HTMs, and like I said, we'll transpose those over, and in the next video, we'll be ready to do doors. But this is how you do all your windows, and this is all of the windows. So any information you need to gather off of it, be sure to look at these videos and get this upper information, because this is the correct information after we moved it to Birmingham, Alabama. And we want to make sure, like I said, that this is all correct. And remember, this is just like doing the northern windows. Over here, this is just the northerly direction windows over here, northerly overhang. So we're going to do those, and you do these exactly the same as that video. And these down here, you're basically just coming straight down the line, but just pay attention when you get to some of these certain things. So if you end up with a negative number, you do exactly what it tells you to do and transpose this number here down to here. Okay. Like I said, in the next video, all this information will be completed. And of course, you take all this information, let me close that, and close this. And we're going to come over here to our J1AE. Of course, this is the Gulf Coast Town original one. And all this information is going to go here. The only other thing that I had not discussed that you need to do and you need to pay attention to is right here. Over here in this section right here, you're going to take up all your net area of your windows over here. Just add them all up, and that's the number that goes right there. Okay? And once you've done that, once you've done all these calculations and you've multiplied this times this to give you this, and this times this to give you this, you're in real good shape, and you should be able to go on to doors and windows. Just multiply this times this to give you this times this to give you this. And of course, we could add these all up, and this is where we're heading to on the total calculation, where we're going with it. Now the next video would be skylights, which is if your house has skylights in it, which as you can see, this house here doesn't have any skylights. So this is B. Like I said, worksheet C, that's why we're not going to do it. We're actually going to skip it because it doesn't have skylights. So our next one will be the doors down here. So we're going to do them just like we've been doing up here, transposing all our information. And like I said, just as a reminder, after you get done with this information down here, and you get down here to the bottom, this cooling HTM down here on the bottom, when you do these windows that are north, I mean not north, but west, south, or east, when you get this information here, this number here would go, let's see which window this is. This window right here is window E. So that's going to be this one right here, E. So our cooling HTM for this window, now when it was in Texas, it was 14.40. And here in Alabama, a little bit further north and everything like that, we're looking at 14.732. Okay, so that 14.732 would go right there where that 14.40 is. Okay, so just transpose all those numbers. These numbers here, like I said, these numbers up here, unless you have that negative number right there, you will not put that down there. Like I said, so don't do this up here and go, oh, okay, I need to carry this over to J1AE. The cooling adjusted with the shade value, this is the part here that will go in there on any east, west, or south facing windows, because remember, they have more sun, and of course sun rises in the east, sets in the west, and rides across the southerly path across through there, so that's why you get a little bit of shade value over here. Remember, all north windows, basically, since it's riding more toward the south, it stays shaded completely, so we don't have to worry about those. So if it's a north-facing window, or like I said, obviously shaded by a tree or something, just use these numbers. There's your HTM, that would go right there. That'd be cooling HTM, that would go right there. If it's a east-west, like these, east, west, south windows, like I said, you're going to use these numbers up here for your heating. This is your heating, that's why they're highlighted in red. But these blue ones right here, remember, these are not adjusted for the shade value, so we have to use whatever number we end up with down here on the base to go to these numbers right here. Okay. Okay, I hope that makes sense, and like I said, in the next video, I'll start on doors, and we'll start working through worksheet D, which is a lot of your opaque surfaces, like your wooden doors over here, above grade, partition walls, ceilings, floors, and so on. And then eventually we'll get to infiltration and duct lossage in the remainders of the videos. But just make sure you just kind of follow along with this. And like I said, in the next video, all this information will be filled in. You can look at the numbers and see, are you getting the right number? Are you rounding correctly? A lot of times in these types of calculations, when we're doing them by hand, just like me not pushing the decimal button on the calculator, you're just going to make simple mathematical errors. And it can make a huge difference or make not so much of a difference, but we want to try and be as accurate as possible.